Imagine a world without light, a world of damp earth, stale air, and silence. For thousands of soldiers on the Western Front, this was reality, but not above ground. Their battlefield was a hidden labyrinth of tunnels beneath no man's land. Here, a secret war was fought in claustrophobic darkness, where the enemy was often heard but rarely seen. The faintest sound, a pickaxe, a cough, could mean disaster. Unlike the chaos above, the underground war was intimate and psychological. Silence was both ally and enemy. This was warfare at its most primal, man against man, separated by mere feet of earth. Miners and engineers became vital, turning the ground itself into a weapon. The psychological toll was immense. Yet, in these hellish conditions, men forged extraordinary bonds to survive. The war underground remains one of the least-known chapters of the Great War. Underground warfare began out of desperation, not design. By late 1914, the Western Front was locked in stalemate, trenches stretched from Switzerland to the North Sea. The Germans, with skilled miners, were first to exploit the ground beneath. They dug tunnels under no man's land, placing explosives to collapse enemy trenches. The first German mine attack near Festubert in December 1914 shocked the British. The answer was clear. To fight miners, the British needed miners. Urgent appeals went out to mining communities across the UK. These sewermen were often older, but their skills were invaluable. In early 1915, the first tunnelling companies of the Royal Engineers were formed. The subterranean front had been born, an invisible battlefield beneath the mud and wire. The stage was set for a new kind of conflict. The new tunnelling companies were unlike any other unit. These were civilian miners, quarrymen, and clay kickers, men with calloused hands and years of experience underground. Many were well over fighting age, valued for their practical skills, not military discipline. Their transition was abrupt. Some went from coal mines in England to digging under German lines in France within days, still in civilian clothes. They weren't drilled on parade grounds. Their worth was in reading soil, shoring tunnels, and surviving in confined oxygen-starved spaces. Organized into specialized companies, some focused on offensive mining, digging towards the enemy to plant explosives. Others worked defensively, creating listening posts to detect German tunnels. Listening required immense patience and concentration. Men sat in silence for hours, ears pressed to the earth, straining for the faintest sound. Their work provided crucial defense and powerful offense, creating complex underground fortresses with command posts, medical stations, and barracks. At Arras, they linked ancient quarries into a vast underground city, complete with water, electricity, and railways. These miners in uniform fundamentally changed the war's landscape, above and below ground. Their expertise made the difference in the hidden war. In the silent war beneath the trenches, noise meant death. The British needed a way to dig quickly and quietly. In the soft clay of Flanders, they perfected clay kicking, a nearly silent technique brought by sewer diggers from cities like Manchester. The kicker lay on his back, using his legs to drive a special spade into the clay, carving out earth with powerful, smooth motions. The clay was passed back to a bagger, then down a chain of trammers, all in near silence. Unlike noisy pickaxes, clay kicking allowed British tunnels to advance dangerously close to German lines undetected. This gave them a crucial edge in the cat-and-mouse game of mining and counter-mining. They could establish listening posts or dig mine chambers directly beneath enemy strongpoints, all while remaining hidden. Clay kicking was a perfect example of civilian skill turned into a weapon of war. In the darkness, silence was survival. The underground war was a deadly game of cat and mouse. Both sides raced to find and destroy enemy tunnels before their own were discovered. Listening posts, small chambers at the end of narrow galleries, were were manned in silence, using primitive geophones or even just a stick pressed to the ear. Once enemy digging was detected, tunnelers raced to intercept, digging countermines to collapse the enemy tunnel or set a deadly camouflage charge. The tension was unbearable as the sounds of digging grew louder, each side knowing the other was close. Sometimes tunnels broke into each other, leading to brutal hand-to-hand fights in the dark. More often, a well-placed camouflage would silently entomb the enemy. In this relentless struggle, survival depended on listening better and digging faster than the unseen foe. Life underground was a descent into hell. Oxygen was scarce, the air thick with fumes from candles and explosives. Tunnelers used canaries and mice as gas detectors. If the animal collapsed, it was time to flee. Water seeped constantly, turning tunnels into freezing, muddy slurries. Pumps often failed, and men worked soaked to the skin, risking trench foot and frostbite. The damp weakened timber supports, raising the constant fear of collapse. Being buried alive was a tunneler's nightmare. The psychological strain was immense. Claustrophobia, darkness, and the ever-present threat of enemy miners just meters away. Every creak or trickle of earth could mean disaster. Handling explosives in cramped, wet conditions was perilous. A single mistake could be fatal. Shockwaves from nearby blasts could collapse tunnels, trapping men far from help. Death came from every direction. Enemy action, the earth itself, the air, and even their own tools. Only the bravest and most skilled could endure this unique form of warfare. The tunnelers' secret war reached its climax at Messines Ridge on June 7, 1917. For over a year, British, Australian and Canadian tunnelers dug 22 deep mines beneath the German stronghold, an immense engineering feat under constant threat from enemy counter-mining. Despite German efforts, most mines remained hidden, packed with 450 tons of explosives. At 3 to 10 a.m. the charges were detonated, unleashing the largest man-made explosion in history at that time. The German front line vanished. Trenches, bunkers, and thousands of soldiers obliterated in an instant. The shockwave was felt for miles. The psychological impact was devastating. Allied infantry advanced over a landscape of craters, meeting little resistance. The Battle of Messines was a stunning success, delivered from below by the tunnelers. It proved the power of ingenuity and patience in modern warfare. The hidden war had changed the course of battle. Tunnelers were a unique breed, brave, skilled, and resilient. Their war demanded patience, intellect, and nerves of steel. They were experts in geology, explosives, and the subtle acoustics of the earth, knowledge gained from years of civilian work. Adaptability was essential. They improvised solutions to unexpected problems, turning everyday items into vital tools. Teamwork was everything. In the darkness, each man's life depended on the others. Kicker, bagger, trammers, all working in silent coordination. This forged bonds of trust and camaraderie, stronger than any formal discipline. Psychological resilience was vital. They endured claustrophobia, darkness, and the constant threat of death. They mastered their fear, focusing on the next task, the next spadeful of clay. Dark humor and quiet support helped them cope with the strain. The tunneler was the ultimate quiet professional, shaping the battlefield from the shadows. Their legacy is one of courage and ingenuity. When the guns fell silent in 1918, the tunnels were abandoned, left to collapse and flood, guarding the secrets of those who fought within. For decades, the story of the tunnelers faded, overshadowed by the epic narrative of the trenches, yet their legacy is profound. They resurrected ancient siegecraft and adapted it to industrial warfare. The tunnelers proved that victory could come through ingenuity, stealth, and technical skill, not just brute force. Today, archaeologists and historians are rediscovering their story, exploring preserved tunnels and uncovering the daily reality of the hidden war. These discoveries remind us that the Great War was fought by ordinary men with extraordinary skills. The Hidden Front is a testament to human resilience and the quiet heroism of specialists fighting in the shadows. Their story is a vital, if often forgotten, chapter of the Great War.